just what's that like for a player, and is it a good thing maybe that you guys just ended things?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you never want to see that. You know, it sucks. You know. Hopefully everything's okay. We'll see as the process goes through. We'll see how everything works out. But I was happy to see him moving around and stuff. So sucks, but one of those things that happens in football. I've been carted off before, and everything was fine. So I'm just praying everything's fine with him.
Calais, when people talk about and JG's real, he stresses not listening to outside forces and everything like that, but there's a lot of people that have talked about what this team could do this year and the expectations. You've been in this league a long time. How do you approach something like that? I mean, do players want to talk expectations? Is it better when they don't? Does it matter either way? Does it depend on the person?
I mean, I think that whether you talk about expectations or not, it really boils down to what you do. Every team that I've had a big run with, I don't think people expected a lot from, in the year leading up. And so, teams where I've been a part of where we had high expectations, we kind of underachieved. So I guess it kind of, depends, right? I don't know if that really has any influence at all, but I just think that expectations matter none. It just comes down to what you do.
What's a winning team look like, in your opinion? Can you tell?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously it takes time, but, teams that execute. Teams that don't beat themselves, guys are where they're supposed to be. You got to have talent, guys that, can get the job done. But a winning team definitely is you see it, it's there, And, I mean, too early to tell for this team, but, it looks good so far, but the writing will be on the wall once we get the pads on and start moving around and really playing some real football. Yeah, a lot of guys are asking me how different it was back in the day, and I was like, we did this, I did experience Flagstaff and all that too, but, I experienced this. This is not new for me. This is normal. I'm very familiar, which is nice. It's just, all the new guys, usually when you're kind of trying to figure out where to go, where the weight room is, how to get back to the locker room, like which way faster on the field, all that stuff. It's nice to have some experience as a new guy.
Do those old memories creep in at all, or just living in today, or how do you kind of see things today?
I mean, I had some flashbacks. I had some moments where it's just like, some kind of memories that come back a little bit. But for the most part, you got to stay present. Being present is the best way to play football.
Is that experience you had in your first season, getting all the way to the Super Bowl, is that still like a motivating factor to get back to that feeling?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if it's really so much of the experience my rookie year or just the fact that I want to win, right? And so the motivational factor to get there is always, high. And but for me, I feel like, it's just play good ball, stay present, stay in the moment. We can't worry about the end of the year. We just got to, become the best football team we could be today. And just, small gains, and just get better at something. Like, Coach has said, but, a lot of times players have to have the mindset, like, if I start camp, the best going to be, it's probably, I'm not probably doing a lot in camp. I'm not getting better in camp. Like, I'm going to get better throughout the whole camp process, and hopefully by week 1, I'll be in a really good place. But even week 1, I'm probably going to get better by the time week 10 comes around, as long as you stay healthy.
What does it mean to you that fans are calling your name from the stands for you to acknowledge them? Do you still feel like you have that connection with the fan base after all these years?
Oh, yeah. That was pretty sweet. A couple of guys are teasing me, giving me a hard time because I guess I acknowledge the fans a little bit, and I'm like, man, hey, this is a real moment. I gotta take a little bit, you gotta accept a little bit of the flowers and appreciate all the love from all the fan base. I mean, it's been incredible. The fan base has always been very strong and always shown me a lot of love, and it's cool that they welcome me back with open arms and still give me a lot of love.
So when you get out on the field, do you feel 17 years older than the rookies? Or do you feel 22 at heart?
I definitely feel like I'm way older than the rookies. I definitely. I mean, it's the conversation, the the experiences, just the knowledge, the confidence, all that stuff is, 17 years more. In the body, definitely is like, man, I wish I felt like you feel right now, but I still feel good though. I still feel great. I still feel like I can go out there and dominate, and that's what matters.
How do you stay young?
I mean, I wish I had like a magic formula. I think it's just I've been blessed, man. God gave me, a lot of blessings to be able to play this game that I love, and the fact that I'm still playing it, I had a lot of fortune, right? Been very, very healthy throughout my career, and I found some really good people to help me take care of my body and how to, prepare and train. I'm very grateful for the blessings God gave me, but that's definitely God.
I know you said that as the weeks go on, you're going to learn more and more about this team, but in the short time that you've been here with them, what have you learned about the offensive line and going up against some of those guys?
Yeah, we've done a lot of ones versus twos type situations, so I haven't got a lot of reps against what our starting lineup would be. But you see it on tape, and you can see that there's a lot of talent. You can tell some guys haven't played together long yet, so they're still working on communication, all that stuff, which is how it's supposed to be in week one, of training camp. I mean, there's a lot of growth there still. But we got a lot of talent on this team, all over the place, O-line, all over the place, D-line, there's a lot of people that can play football, and I really like our coaching. Our coaching has been top-notch. Guys are, really working on the details that are going to translate to the game, and hopefully, we continue to put it together.
You're still a few days out from the first padded practice. At this point, are you itching to have some contact and really go against those guys?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. When I was younger, I used to dread the intense practices just because, you a lot of, I don't know, just the physicality and the pain that comes from it. Your fingers get all bruised up and everything's all kind of messed up, but. But to me now, that's where I feel like you really get a true evaluation of where you're at. So you get a chance to really, because a lot of it's like self-evaluation. Like, where am I at right now? Like, what do I need to work on? What do I need to get better at? And I feel like a lot of that comes on those padded days, on those full tilt padded days where you get the most banged up, but it's the most most like football, like a game day. And that's what the old saying: if you practice like it's a game. On game day, it'd be like practice. And so a lot of times we're out there like that. A lot of my career, I've tried to, on game day, I practice, on padded days, practice like it's game day.
What kind of advice can you give Walter Nolan after suffering an unfortunate injury right before camp?
My number one advice was let it heal all the way. Calves have a big re-injury rate when you try to rush back, and he's very excited, as any rookie would be, to get back on the field, and it's like, you're going to be fine. I know you want to get in training camp and be around the guys and compete and show what you can do, but, let it heal all the way, so it don't, bother you the rest of the season. And, we know what you can do. We'll get you healthy, we'll get you ready to go when the time comes.
What kind of setting like this, how do you balance getting the work in that you want to get done while also kind of mentoring and helping out those younger guys?
I mean, I think it's a lot of times I have the young guys do it with me, especially after practice, and when you're trying to get the extra work in, and then during practice, I think it's just when we're in drills and we have just quick time to communicate in between. When we're usually in training camp, you have 15 guys going in a drill, so you usually get a little time to kind of talk through after you see somebody do something. So I usually try to take that time and help guys when I see something, but we got really good coaching too, so it's not like I have to do a lot. It's just when I see something.
You had a D-line coach bring as much energy as Winston does to practice.
Yeah, I don't know. He might take the cake when it comes to energy. I think he's gonna be his voice will sound like mine by the end of this camp though. He's already losing it, so he brings a lot of energy though. It's good to see.
He does the drills with you guys. I mean, sometimes he's like in there trying to.
Yeah, not sometimes. I mean, he's taking a lot of reps. He definitely took the most reps that any coach ever had. That's the benefit, I guess, of being young and in shape. He gets in there and gets physical with us and stuff, and that's kind of cool to see.
Is there a benefit for you guys, like that he's giving you somewhat of a true look in a sense?
I think it's a benefit from us, from all of us, because he can kind of get a feel for how things really are, like hand placement, power, all the stuff that he can start coaching on. which I think is good because he can get a feel for what it really felt like, how it really was. And we also get the tape to watch it, so he'll watch it again and all that good stuff too. So, I think it helps. I don't know how long he can keep it up because it's a lot of reps, but it definitely helps. I think his ability to start helping and coaching the young guys and understanding exactly what they need to work on.
Do you look forward to a Veterans Day off, or would you prefer just suck it up and go?
Honestly, I think that I have to take veteran days off, right? And so I don't know if I really look forward to them. I like to be out there with the guys and competing and getting better and helping mentor and all that stuff. But, I have to take those days off. And you're 18, it'll be impossible for me to be ready to go week one if I don't take some time off. So I'm definitely going to take some veteran days. So.
What do you do differently in year 18 than you did year one? Do you have to stretch more? Is recovery harder? What are the things you have to do to stay on the field?
There's a lot that's different. We'll be here for a while if I listed everything that was different. In year one, you could literally, I could put my stuff on and go out there and not even stretch and go out there and fly around and make a lot of plays. Now I got to get here with enough time and start doing my warm up and. Even in practice, I have to kind of, really build up in our individual period and all that stuff. We use your walkthrough, kind of build up. I can't just go right into it, I would love to, but them days are gone, long gone.
Does it take longer to put on pads than it did before?
No, the putting on pads, all that stuff, yeah. I think I try to get them on a little faster, just to sit in them for a second, got to get my mind right, But I love this game and all the facets. And when you play it, you go out there and practice. I've come to love practice. Learn when you get out there and you're competing against other guys and you're trying to work and get better to get ready for a game or a season. There's so much that you can gain from practice, and it's kind of funny because most guys when you're young, you kind of you just love the games. You don't really appreciate the practice. But as you get closer to the end, you're like, no, this is still football. It's controlled football, but it's still football.
How about succeeding this late in your career and finding wins still? Do you take more pride in that, knowing that you can still play this game at a high level?
Yeah. I think I take a lot of pride in still being like an elite player, in moments, I feel like, no matter who it is, I would love to go up against the best of them and still be able to throw them around and beat them. And as a team, I'm trying to understand schemes and, what teams are trying to do to beat us, what our weaknesses are and all that stuff, and be able to help the coaches, echo that to the players and understand, how we could take advantage of it on the field. And so, I've tried to become like a coach on the field a lot of times over the last couple of years, and it helps. But, I'm only out there so often, I can't be out there every play anymore, which definitely is a hurt to my pride. I wish I could be out there every play. But it's still cool to be. I could be out there, and still be able to dominate, 50% of the time.
Tyrann Mathieu was on Rich Eisen's show earlier today, and he brought up some of the memories of him joining the team here, and he brought up your name specifically with a handful of other guys. What are some of your memories of Tyrann?
Oh man, a lot of good memories. I was telling actually a guy on the bus earlier that he was one of the few people. Well, he's the only person really that I saw with my own eyes that was one of the best players on the field his first day on the field. It's very few, you probably got like Marcus Parsons and a couple other guys, but, where they're like one of the best players on the field immediately. And, he had a heck of a career. And, one of my favorite teammates of all time, played the game the right way, had just a different kind of passion and love for it, the same kind of passion and love I have. And so, a legend retired, great player.
Thanks, Clay.